There are so many great and recognizable maps made for all manner of Source Engine games. Half-Life 2, Left 4 Dead, Day of Defeat, I mean the list goes on as you know. But with Garry's Mod being one of the most long-standing and popular of the Source Engine games, it makes you wonder, what is the oldest map made for Garry's Mod? Well, that's what I'll be taking a look at today, and in the end I think the answer will surprise you. But anyway, let's get started. This information took a lot of poking, prodding, and a general digging around the so-called backrooms of the internet, and I tried only to pick reputable sources for information rather than just hearsay and server chat-esque rumors. The first place I thought to hit up was the developer's own website, facepunch.com. Of course, they now have other projects on the go as well, like Rust and Sandbox, but there is still a section for Garry's Mod. I hopped over to the change list section and, well, it only goes back to May of 2013. This is probably just because Gmod 13 released in late 2012, and the changelog really doesn't need to hold a lot of information for versions before that, considering they are now unsupported. But I don't know. On to the next source, the beloved Workshop. I didn't have much faith here as the Workshop for Garry's Mod was implemented in late 2012, probably to coincide with the Gmod 13 release. Alas, the oldest Workshop map posted was GM Construct History by Garry himself. Basically a collection of demo maps showing the famous GM_construct through various versions of Gmod. Cool, but still obviously not a contender for the oldest map, so on we go. What about garrysmods.org? Well, that site was made to replace the original Garry's Mod add-ons and Facepunch forum sites, which are now back up, but unfortunately not used very much by the community. Unfortunately, it didn't bring back archived maps, so the oldest maps on there only date back to 2014 or 2015 by upload date. Fortunately, however, there is a bot account with the name garrysmod.org that re-uploads some of the most popular Gmod add-ons from the old site. There's tons of old Gmod gold here, from maps to NPCs to just general add-ons, it's all there. The problem is that there are no dates provided for a majority of the re-uploads, meaning that I really can't tell which one is the oldest. But from what I can guess, the oldest map with a provided date that was uploaded by this account was GM Soccer 2006, presumably made in 2006. A basic soccer stadium with not much to write home about. Now we move on to the holy grail of source modding, Game Banana. I believe I've stated this time and time again, but Game Banana technically dates back to around 2001 in the days of the original Counter-Strike and was primarily focused on 1.6 before branching out to lots of other FPS games, but mainly being popular for gold source and source entries. Either way, upon looking through the game section, I found it. Quite possibly the oldest custom Garry's Mod map we will ever fail to find, GM_Combine, which unfortunately is a re-upload and I have no idea who made it, but even the re-upload dates all the way back to September 11th, 2005. This map is probably older than 75% of Garry's Mod's player base if I had to guess. Never heard of it? Yeah, me either. But I decided to download it and try it out and see what it even is. It even comes with a text document telling you what to do, presumably made by the original author. If you weren't in the mapping or modding scene 10 to 15 years ago like I was, this was pretty commonplace back before the Workshop and whatnot. Either way, the map is large but basic. Essentially just an adventure sort of map that focuses on the player making their way through various copy-pasted corridors, fighting zombies, and, well, Combine. Like I said, it's basic and gets pretty redundant. At the end you climb an elevator shaft and the screen fades to white, and never comes back, so you just have to disconnect. But Garry's Mod has existed since 2004, right? Surely there has to be something even older than that. Well, as far as custom content goes, GM Combine is the oldest we've got until something else becomes unearthed from the depths of the internet. But if you want to get technical, the first Garry's Mod map was actually GM Construct, but not the one that we know today. It started out as a blank white room with various buttons to spawn ragdolls. As for the blank texture, I have no idea why it's like this, maybe to test bloom settings or to see if the decal placement worked properly, no idea. It doesn't go much further than that, it's just a big blank square room. And if you wanted to get even more technical, the first ever map that you could play in Garry's Mod was D1 Train Station 1. If that sounds familiar, well, it's just because it's the opening sequence level for Half-Life 2. As many of you know, Garry's Mod was originally a Half-Life 2 mod that has since expanded to being standalone. So in the very first version of Garry's Mod, it was basically just Half-Life 2 running in a source mod form for testing. But anyways, what was the first Gmod map you played? As I said before, there may be an older custom map out there than what I have listed, but I searched for a while trying to find something else and, well, this is all I could come up with. But there has to be something else out there. somewhere.